Calamity, right?
Indeed.
All right. So the world is currently in a period that is known by a number of different names. For people who study the arcane, it's often called the Second Spark. Mostly because while the Age of Arcanum had been a renaissance of sorts, as arcane magic had really kind of taken the forefront in terms of mortal pursuits, the fallout from the Calamity actually set most magical practitioners back by decades. Most of their research was destroyed or lost to the violence and destruction that came with the conflict. For the religious types, are known as the penance, because those who seek to be close to their gods now are forced to live apart from them. But those who kind of fall outside of those realms, divergent, and that's just the time when mortals and gods. So, as civilization is sort of reestablishing itself here, as I mentioned, the elves, and then the dwarves, and then eventually the humans. Would-be rulers still stepping up and fighting over control, these assorted realms that make up the large landmass you find yourself. But from the way things are sounding, that may soon be coming to an end. And that is the history of the former kingdom of Drasig up until this day.
Well then, I relate all of this to Maya and whoever else is at the library.
Lilith.
All right. So, is that it for the library crew?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to Trogdor.
No temple. I'm kidding.
Would just like to find the nearest guard and ask for directions. Or if there's even a temple here.
Well, I guess that would be a good place to start. All right. So, you do find out that there is indeed a temple here.
To Bahamut, or just in general?
Well, the name Bahamut certainly seems familiar to the guard. So, yeah, what you gather, it's Bahamut as worshipped in your homeworld.
I ask him for directions, and then after he gives me directions, I'll give him a tip, like 10 gold.
Okay. He is certainly grateful for that. And yeah, you're directed to a small ward of the city known as the Temple, where you see that there are, well, two prominent structures, three easily distinguishable deities that very similarly to your time back in Moore, you see a temple that is starkly contrasted from one side to the other. You see one side, one entrance that is meticulously upkept, cleaned, finely crafted, all the masonry, all the metal, just glisteningly clean. The other one is entirely overgrown by creeping vines and ivy. You gather that this would be another dual temple to both Arathis and Malor, the Lawbearer and the Wild. This is probably the larger of the two prominent buildings, built to accommodate worship to distinct deities. But as you look further into the temple ward, you do see a rather imposing looking building. Large stone pillars suspending a brawling stone roof over what to our eyes would be a very kind of Greek-looking temple. Sprawling stone chamber inside, and situated at the far back is a massive statue of a roaring dragon.
There room big enough for the steed to get into?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, I'm gonna go in on foot and you can follow me in.
Okay. So you make your way in, and much like all the other temples you've been to, you see a number of clergy kind of just attending to maintenance facility and keeping fresh candles and incense supplied to the altar that kind of lies in front of the statue near the back of this chamber. And they just kind of seem to go about their business. A couple of them, give kind of quick nods of acknowledgement, seeing you, seeing your mount. Clearly putting two and two together.
Are they all like roughly the same ranks and whatnot, or is there any higher up clerics or paladins?
I mean, you see a few that maybe look a little more seasoned than the others. You don't see anyone who appears to be. You don't see any paladins. At the moment, you don't see any clerics about either. All like priests, clergy.
I guess I'll approach the nearest seasoned looking one and ask who's in charge.
Alright. You're just gonna kind of walk up and say, "Who's in charge here?"
Yeah, I'll say, excuse me, who might be in charge of this temple?
The old fellow with kind of a wispy white beard looks up and says, "Well, you'd be looking for Medfris. He hasn't been out much lately. Don't believe I've seen him this week. He, last I knew, was confined in his quarters, praying and attempting to commune with the Platinum Dragon, seeking peace and, well, an end to the struggles that have plagued this place for so long.
You think it would be okay if I speak with him?
He kind of looks you over and, well, it would seem that you are blessed by Platinum Dragon, and if you have business here in his service, I would certainly not stand in your way.
Can you take me to his room?
Of course. He, slowly, he's probably upper 70s, this guy who's leading you, showing you kind of through a door in the back corner hallway with a number of doors kind of regularly spaced out throughout the length. You get to about the middle of the hall. And he stops and turns and lightly knocks on the beaten up wooden door on his right. And doesn't say anything, just kind of waits. And gets kind of uncomfortable. The wait goes on probably 20, 30 seconds. But you do hear noise inside. Sounds like the closing of some heavy book. The creaking of maybe a chair or something. And eventually, there is kind of a squeal as the door opens, and you find yourself facing a dragonborn. A silver dragonborn.
Ooh.
Clad in the familiar blue and, well, white in the case of robes, garb of the Platinum Dragon and his clergy. And he sort of looks at the old fellow who led you, seems confused, and of course then catches out of the corner of his eye the rather imposing figure of a 7-foot dragonborn clad.
What's a platinum drake?
That would probably be a tight squeeze back.
I'll leave it wherever it's not a tight squeeze.
Okay. And seeing you there just says, yes.
My name's Trogdor Thucci, I'm a paladin of Bahamut. My group and I have seemed to somehow, when going through a portal, ended up here in, not sure if it's another continent or another world entirely, but I was wondering if you could help.
Well, I'm not sure what I could do to that. Any servant of the Platinum Dragon is welcome here, and what I can. What is it that you think I can do for it?
Do you have any knowledge on such? I don't know what it would be called. It may potential interdimensional travel.
Well, beyond the myths of founding and the subsequent banishment of betrayer gods, self-imposed banishment of the prime gods, our own deity. I don't know much. I'm overly familiar with this sort of thing. I know that there are, of course, powerful mages in Illipord, and something about plane shift. I'm not sure if that would get you home, but, well, all that is really outside my realm of knowledge.
Oh, what about the City of Doors?
The what?
City of Doors.
Is that supposed to mean something?
I'll have to come back with it, but I have a tablet from my world. It's part of how Talik Dragonborn ended up escaping the rule of Tiamat. We used it to travel to another material plane. I was wondering if maybe you had any information on that as well. Maybe I could use that to get back. I'm not sure it's the same here with Dragonborn on this world.
The story you tell, I haven't heard anything along those lines. Certainly not common knowledge here, to be sure. I could, of course, do some research, see what I could.
Is there anything? What?
It would seem that we've had vastly different experiences in our following of the Platinum Dragon, though it is reassuring to know that even in other planes, you think it is, his power extends there.
Wait, was he asking a question?
Sort of. He was like kind of doing that. Is that what you said? And then goes on to basically, it's good to know that the Platinum Dragon holds sway in other planes or worlds.
Kind of like if aliens landed on this earth and they worship gods. Oh. Christian gods or Indian gods.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we must be onto something. That's good.
Do you have anything that Temple or you personally could use some help with?
He thinks for a moment. I'm probably not the best one to ask. I've been deep in prayer for the last going on a week.
How's that been going?
How goes the war effort? Any news?
Just came back from what was it called?
Black Valley?
Yeah. Alright, just came back from Black Valley. We managed to get a victory there. I'm not sure where else there's any fighting. I'm new to these places.
And when you say we, am I to assume you are fighting with the elves and the rebels?
Yes.
Last I heard, the king had been in the company around these parts. What news of him?
Drossik?
Yeah.
He was beheaded just the other day.
So casual.
Okay. He just kind of stands there, mouth agape, certainly taken aback by this news. Well, not necessarily in a bad way. So it's done then.
I suppose. Like I said, I don't know if there's any more fighting going on.
You've found quite a time to appear here, but I do appreciate the news that you've brought me, and this is amazing, glorious. It means people here can be free again. I think you've done all the service that I could ask. So thank you.
Maybe I could help with the prayer. Maybe I could channel each other. Maybe get a stronger signal.
Well, I think my prayers have been answered. So if you need to commune with the Platinum Dragon yourself, be happy to provide you a space to do so, or whatever you may need.
Is there any ways to make it easier?
Just clear your mind and allow him to speak to you.
Doesn't always seem to respond.
Well, in many cases, when I've not gotten a response immediately, it's been a case of something
Lay
that
down.
You
Lay
just whine
down.
about it.
Sadie.
just whine until you get a
Lay
response.
down.
If you don't get a response, just keep getting louder and louder until you do. She's such a brat.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Want to get locked out of the room?
To the bathroom you go.
Not giving you a piece of jerky.
All right. Well, where were we? Oh yeah, when Bahamut doesn't respond. Medfrost just says, when I don't immediately get a response, it often comes down to the fact Bahamut knows that I am already equipped with all I need to surmount whatever it is I'm facing.
What if I don't know what I need to do?
And it would seem that Sadie's sitting here and whining. And, oh, I'm sorry. If you don't know what to do, then continue praying, and if you truly are at a point where there's no other means of overcoming your, the Platinum Dragon does have a way of providing. Stay strong.
The temple in need of provisions.
We are very well looked after here. The people of Westren have largely devoted themselves to following the Platinum Dragon, his tenets. So we do what we can to bless the community, and they have truly astounded us with what they've been willing to provide and give back to spread the influence.
I'd like to make a donation to the temple. And I'll give them 10 platinum.
Alright. And, he takes it and looks at the coins and says, Are you sure you don't need this?
I have plenty.
Well, may Bahamut continue to watch over you, and may you find your way. What it would seem you are in the midst of something quite serious, and I'm sure he has some purpose in mind for you throughout all.
Thank you for all your advice.
Happy
Come
to
back.
help where I can.
Come back later with the tablet.
I look forward to it.
Bid you farewell for now. And I'll
Right.
walk out.
Okay. I think that covers everybody in their day in one. Right? Apart from, of course, Trogdor coming back with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that might be a good place to call it, given that it's almost 11. Lots of RP world exposition kind of stuff today.